Thank you, Flora, and thank you everybody for joining me today. What I wanted to do was really kind of take you through how to use creative automation as a catalyst to supercharge your dam. A little bit about myself. Let's make sure I got this right. I'm Roger Connolly. I'm the Vice President of Product Management. I apologize in advance. I never have projected my head this big before. But I'm the VP of Product Management at Sitecore. I am a reformed New Yorker living in Brussels. I actually had quite a bit of a nostalgic tour with Claire's presentation before because I made the move from Brussels, from Brooklyn actually. And I live in Flagey, which has actually a pretty nice kind of Brooklyn feel to it. It's very Brussellois. It's not fundamentally like an expat community. It has a lot of actual Brussels life culture there. So I really love living in Brussels. A lot of people ask me, why did you make the move from New York to Brussels? Are you crazy? The answer is maybe partially, but I'm really, really, really enjoying it. About the agenda today, what I want to do is take you through some of the dilemmas and challenges facing today's marketers. And I think this is not going to be news to any of you. You all live and breathe this stuff. But it's important to kind of set the stage for kind of what's going on and what we're kind of facing. And I want to take you next through kind of how that's impacting the consumer themselves. Really kind of understanding the opportunity cost in terms of how we're actually kind of creating and delivering content to them. I'll talk a little bit about then how we start to kind of address those concerns by proper use of a digital asset management tool and ultimately the kind of supercharging of that experience using creative automation. So, I think we've been dealing with an explosion of content requirements for a while now. Consumers are active on more channels than ever before. And the list continues to grow with consumers having a multitude of choice. There's also increasingly desperate for personalized content experiences tailored to their specific needs and interests. And it's said that the typical customer has the attention span of roughly 8 seconds. So you kind of have this hyper-demanding customer with the attention span of a 2-year-old. And this is the needle that we're trying to kind of thread during this process to actually facilitate the delivery of personalized content to a hyper-demanding customer with a very short attention span. Plus, you want to do this while maintaining your brand identity. And unfortunately, the reality is budgets that are necessary to do this at scale, those aren't coming these days, right? So how do you actually solve this? On the flip side, we also know that the prize for the taking is undisputed. We know that relevant and useful content drove 15 times better outcomes, whether that's through marketing objective KPIs or commercial transactions. We know that high-quality content marketing generates 3 times more leads than outbound marketing and costs roughly 62% less. And the conversion rate for this content marketing is 6 times higher than other channels and methods. All the while, 88% of marketers affirm that effective content marketing builds customer loyalty. So we have a world where better content drives more leads more cheaply and converts higher and builds loyalty for your brand. And so this is really the conundrum that everybody faces. Everybody knows what good looks like. They know what awaits them if they execute against this strategy. But they don't have the systems, tools, and processes in place to untap that potential. Quality is a North Star and is considered marketers' #1 priority, and not only that, considered a core business priority. But they lack the tools and processes on hand to make it a reality. So, a bit of a tour of some of the tales of woe. The average marketer can spend nearly 75% of their day on manual operational tasks, combined with the fact that the average marketer is expecting to launch roughly 9 discrete campaigns every quarter. Nearly half of marketers report that their teams are threadbare to support these operational tasks. Localization is a key requirement in your business and drags on creativity within the organization. And that could go from simple translation needs all the way to fit-for-purpose custom localization. So it should come as no surprise that 70% of marketers find that their organizations are unsuccessful in content marketing. And interestingly enough, what we see in every organization that we talk to is marketing spends tons of money on analytics tools that actually help them measure the effectiveness of their content marketing. but half of them have implemented a properly functioning DAM in their business. And we fundamentally believe that in order for you to actually effectively deliver on the needs for your marketing program, you have to be set up for success. And DAM is a key component of that success story. Because we find that marketers oftentimes are facing internal silos, poor workflow and collaboration, and really unfit technology in their business that are kind of hampering their ability to deliver. So we have an idea of how the marketer feels, but what does this mean for the customer themselves? So first of all, customers find the brand content available to them is unsatisfactory. 75% of consumers say that content quality is a key driver of their purchasing decisions. 9 in 10 have high expectations of the type of content that they're expected to consume. And 78% of those consumers say that compelling content drives repeat purchases and ultimately builds brand loyalty. And so this is kind of frightening, right? We have a situation where 3/4 of customers that drive their purchasing decisions and likelihood to return, but yet just 60% of the people yet 60% are underwhelmed by the experience that we're providing them and the content that they come across. And what that ultimately costs brands is that 60% of bounced shoppers is ultimately due to poor content. It's not actually because they found a better competitive product that they want to go buy. It's because they just had a poor experience interacting with your brand. And this is actually a result of $5 billion in money that's spent and wasted on creating underperforming content. Right, so this is a huge opportunity cost for everybody. So what do customers really want? What they want is to be seen and heard. They want to have a brand that communicates to them in an effective way that actually speaks to their specific likes, dislikes, interests in a genuine way. We've lost the art of storytelling. Given the explosion of different channels and the creation of content to actually deliver against those channels, the reality is there's no real kind of art of storytelling anymore. It's just kind of the same asset over and over and over again in every different channel. So the discussion this morning about how print is returning as a hyper-personalized kind of way to talk to your customers is kind of crazy to think about. I mean, print is expensive. But the reason for this is that I think we're poorly delivering against the digital marketing needs. So we're creating all this content, but it's useless content. It's not actually meeting the needs of what we want to do. So I don't think it's a fundamental move back to print. I think it's a fundamental failure in how we're delivering against a digital promise. And I think fundamentally, customers want cohesion in how they interact with your brand. They want to have the same look and feel when they actually interact with your website, or they go to your store, or they deal with your app. They want to see a coherent experience that actually represents your brands. And we see that customers distrust brands that are getting this wrong. And we also see yesterday, the discussion from Kathleen at Colruyt. This is super hard. This is really hard to get right. There's so many people doing so many different things across your organization, and they're doing the best that they can to keep up with the rate of change, but they need tools to fundamentally protect their brand and the consistency of their brand. So, how do we start putting some order to this madness? And I truly believe that the first step in all this is actually properly implementing a digital asset management practice in your business, getting the basics right. But I'm not talking about as a simple DAM. That's not enough. You need what Teresa described yesterday as DAM 3.0. And this is where Sitecore Content Hub comes in. Our vision is empower brands to own the entirety of their content lifecycle. And what you see behind me is really a view of what we mean by DAM 3.0. There's a multitude of information inside your business already, upstream from the content creators. This could be information from your product lifecycle management tool. It could be in a PIM. It could be agency content that's being created. It could be sourced from other avenues within your business. This is super important information that you need to make sure that you get out to your customers effectively. But you need a way to actually aggregate this information in a central place and make it available for your marketers so they can enrich that content with additional content. It could be media. It could be more customer-facing content that's kind of an expression of the raw data that you might be getting from these upstream tools. You need tools to actually govern and maintain that. You need the ability to actually create modular content so you can actually deliver against the promise of a hyper-personalized world. And ultimately, you then need to be able to publish this content to a variety of channels downstream. And ideally, you're getting analytics data back from those channels, informing the marketer about what they need to do next. So this is the promise of a content hub, a DAM 3.0. And this might look very similar to the slide that you saw yesterday from Teresa. And there's a reason for that, because we at Sitecore created this vision. And if you don't believe me, this is our marketing from 2017, which actually articulates exactly the same vision. Data sources on the left, aggregated in a central marketing content hub in the middle, allow you to enrich that, bring it to market to the channels on the right. So we are the OG content hub. So, this might look like an overwhelming task, and I don't think we should all take this lightly, but I think if we get this right, the benefits start to compound one another. If we talk a little about some of the strategic benefits, you can maximize strategic value of your content and drive consistency across your channels. Getting to market faster by producing, creating, and launching content quicker and with more agile, efficient processes. Having a holistic 360-degree view on all your marketing content and assets and not the multiple disparate and siloed tools. And the ability to optimize content continuously in order to maximize the strategic value of content and consistency. So kind of talking about what Teresa talked about yesterday in terms of how do you kind of ultimately unleash the value of your assets. And this is how you do it. So how do we think about creative automation in this context? And so, marketing has long been one of the largest business users of utilizing automation capabilities. And roughly 2/3 at least of teams are piloting automation. These that do generate higher quality leads, they have higher return on investment on their marketing spend, and they ultimately have better satisfaction within their teams that are leveraging these capabilities. And automation is driving real success for marketers. An increase in overall leads. So when you add to that, was on the previous slide, that the leads are even better quality, that compound effect really kind of drives results for your business. And we see even increased conversions on them. So, but as we get into the design itself, we also see more room for automation. With 50% of design tasks estimated to be automatable, is that a word, by 2025. And this number might even increase further with the advent of generative AI capabilities, which I'm not here to talk about today. And there are 45% decreases in costs due to human error. So what we're saying here is that we can do half of the work designers are doing today by 2025, and not only do so with higher confidence and at lower cost. I mean, this is an incredible opportunity. And so if we think about how this actually comes together, if we revisit this slide, and Teresa rightly pointed this out yesterday, once we have all of the assets properly curated and governed in the DAM, even if we have the necessary level of modularity to the content and attribution in a way that can be to support the concept of creation at scale, we still couldn't do it ourselves, right? So we still had this moat to cross between ourselves and the channels to be able to actually deliver content at scale. And so when we looked at who was out there that was doing creative automation, quite honestly, long before creative automation was even a thing, Chili was the obvious choice. Their Chili Publish product already took the complexity of InDesign out of the equation, and their smart template engine was able to democratize traditionally creative work for those non-creatives in a way that actually protected your brand and your brand's expression. So what we've built, and we already have today in Sitecore Content Hub, is our Content Publisher product, which is powered by Chili Publish. And this allows Content Hub customers to create static rendered marketing collateral at scale using the governed assets and brand guidelines. And this offers marketers the ability to self-serve on new asset creation. This has freed up time and budget for some high-level creative execution and protected brand's expression in the process. But as Chili's evolving, we are too. So we're really excited to announce our new evolution of Content Publisher built on Graphic Studio that offers similar capabilities as our existing solution focused on web to print, but focusing in on digital and motion graphics media needs. Really focusing on the ability to deliver against that omni-channel graphics output vision. We're also planning to release, Ward mentioned on yesterday, an open source connector on the Chili platform so that our partners and customers can design the lights out automation tool of their dreams with the combined technology of Content Hub and Chili. And animations is great and everything, but trust me, I'm going to keep the pressure up at Chili to start working on those video composition use cases as well. But if I'm being honest, our real ambitions might go even a bit further. So along with the Sitecore Content Hub products, Sitecore is also a broad digital experience software ecosystem with technology that powers some of the world's largest brands, and we provide solutions that go from content all the way to commerce. We've got a world-class web CMS to support the glass and the presentation layer, powered by content from Content Hub, and we've got a world-class headless commerce engine to support your commercial endeavors, whether that's B2B, B2C, or B2B2C. On top of that, we've got an experimentation personalization engine as well, coupled with a customer data platform. So as Chili Graphics evolves and introduces capabilities in their data application, we see a future where Chili can power the digital experience of the future. By combining details about the customer and personalization rules, we can combine their audience segment and their intent on the fly. We can match them with hyper-personalized content that's being stored in your DAM, pairing them with relevant product information and details and pricing from our commerce engine, and serving them ultimately in their digital experience in our web CMS XM Cloud. So this is the true future of creative automation at scale. Data and content and business rules augmented with Gen AI and an engine smart enough to do the assembly. So what that means eventually is we've got one template, infinite possibilities. We can automate versions for every channel and format, whether that's social, ads, point of sale, and more, within seconds, trimming weeks off the design timeline, all protecting your brand. We can offer powerful focal point management so you understand actually what the point of interest in any particular piece of media is, so that as you use that asset across multiple touch points in different shapes and sizes, you're always ensuring that the relevant portion of the image is being served to the customer. And we can deploy across a multitude of channels with just a few clicks, efficiency like never before. So in summary, again, I don't need to tell you all this, lower costs, maximizing the asset utilization and return on investment. You live and breathe this stuff. But I think the case for creative automation is crystal clear. And while I hope very much that if you want to learn more about Sitecore, but this really applies to any organization that can get a better handle on their management of assets and data in their business. Right? So this is not just about Sitecore. This is also about all of you thinking about how you can take advantage of the data that you have on hand and actually think about the way to kind of really use it with purpose and intent. And so I wanted to leave you with this fact that might not be clear to everybody. You might recognize Sitecore as a CMS vendor from Copenhagen, which is true. But what you might not know is that Sitecore Content Hub was born in Brussels and is still managed and built here today. And it's just up the road in Aalst is where the great team at Chili has been building the wonderful product that we've had an opportunity to see over the last few days. And we've been working very closely together since around 2017 as well, building with some of the biggest brands in the world the concept of creative automation. And we really feel that we can deliver the ace up your sleeve for this creative automation, pairing a best-in-class Content Hub with the power of Chili Graphics. So that's my time today. I wanted to thank Kevin, Ward, Keith, Flora, and the entire Chili team for having me. It is my first event that I've actually done in Brussels, so I'm super excited about that as a relocated Brusselsois. And thank you all for listening today.